What if I told you that the greatest power you'll ever need is already inside you, and that the only reason you haven't felt it is because life convinced you to doubt it? Stay with me. Before this message is over, you'll see how ordinary people, just like you, have faced fear, failure, and uncertainty, and discovered they were far more capable than they ever imagined. And you'll realize something you may have forgotten along the way. You are stronger than you think. Now let me tell you something I've learned from decades of listening to people. Real people, everyday folks who sit across the table and speak from the heart. Most of us don't stumble because we lack talent or potential. We stumble because we underestimate the quiet power within us. And sometimes the person holding us back the most is the one we see in the mirror. We're raised to be polite, modest, even self-effacing. And that's not all bad. But too often, we confuse humility with helplessness. We forget that inside each of us, there's a reserve of strength that hasn't even been tested yet. Now here's a question worth pondering. What would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? It's a popular question in self-help circles. Sure, but I'd rather ask you this. What have you already overcome that once seemed impossible? You've lived through losses. You've endured long nights of worry and days filled with doubt. You've carried burdens no one could see. And yet here you are, still standing. That's not weakness. That's resilience. Strength isn't always loud. It doesn't always flex its muscles. Sometimes strength is getting up one more time than you fall. It's walking into a job interview when your confidence is shaken. It's speaking your mind at a family table when your voice trembles. It's asking for help when you were taught never to. If you think courage belongs only to the mighty, let me remind you, even the strongest tree was once a seed buried in darkness. So here's your first step. Believe this simple truth. You are stronger than you think. Not because I say so, but because life has already proven it through you. The rest of this journey, we'll take it together. When I first started teaching public speaking, I noticed something strange. People weren't afraid of forgetting their lines, they were afraid of being seen. Afraid that others might notice their shaking hands, their uneven voice, their doubt. They feared exposure more than failure. But here's the paradox. Every time someone got up and spoke anyway, even when their words stumbled, they walked off that stage a little taller. Why? Because fear faded the moment they moved through it. It didn't vanish entirely, no, but it lost its grip. It's the same in life. That hard conversation you've been avoiding, that opportunity you didn't think you were qualified for, that decision you've put off because it scares you, the only thing standing between you and the other side is a single act of courage. And let me remind you, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's movement in spite of it. It's saying, yes, I'm scared, and I'll do it anyway. Think back. When was the last time you surprised yourself? That moment you spoke up when you normally wouldn't? That time you didn't quit, even when it would have been easier to walk away. You didn't plan to be brave, you just decided you had something worth fighting for. And that decision made all the difference. Now, I won't pretend it's always easy, but I will tell you this. Your fear is often just an arrow pointing toward your next victory. And every time you act in defiance of it, you grow stronger. So the next time fear shows up, Don't see it as a stop sign. See it as a starting line. You've done it before. You can do it again. And the best part? Each time you do, the voice of doubt grows a little quieter, because you've proven once more that you are stronger than you think. Every one of us has a voice inside that whispers doubts in our ear. You're not ready. You're not smart enough. Someone else could do it better. Now, let me tell you something I've learned from coaching thousands of men and women over the years. That voice is a liar. And worse, it often sounds just like us, because we've been rehearsing those lines for years. Where do these thoughts come from? Sometimes it's a memory, a teacher who dismissed us, a parent who criticized more than they praised, a boss who never saw our potential. Other times, it's just habit. We've gotten so used to expecting less of ourselves that we forget we were born capable. But here's the good news. Just as those lies were learned, they can be unlearned. And the most powerful antidote I know is evidence. You start to replace that inner critic not by shouting over it, but by outgrowing it. Every small victory, every courageous choice, every day you refuse to quit, that's evidence. Evidence that you are not the frail version of yourself you once believed. You're not failing, you're forging. You're shaping a stronger version of yourself through action. You see, confidence isn't given, it's earned, one honest day at a time. And you earn it by doing the thing your fear told you you couldn't. So the next time you hear that old lie echo in your mind, stop and ask, is this voice telling the truth or just repeating the past? Then speak back with action. Show it what you can do. Because the more you prove your strength to yourself, the less power your doubt will hold. And step by step, you'll come to see what I've seen in you all along. You are stronger than you think. One of the great obstacles to personal growth is comparison. We look at others, neighbors, coworkers, even strangers on the street, and we assume they've figured something out that we haven't. They seem more confident, more successful, more composed. But let me share a truth that took me years to learn. Nobody has it all together. Not one soul. That polished speaker on stage. He once forgot his lines and wanted to crawl off in embarrassment. That poised executive? She still lies awake at night wondering if she's doing the right thing. That cheerful friend? He battles his own doubts every morning just to get out of bed with a smile. What separates them from others isn't perfection. It's persistence. They don't let uncertainty define them. They don't wait until they feel completely ready before they act. They move forward anyway. You don't need to have it all figured out before you begin. In fact, trying to get it all together is often just a way of stalling, of staying in the safe zone of preparation and never entering the arena of progress. Real strength shows up not in moments of ease, but in motion through the unknown. It's built in the tension between who you are today and who you are becoming. So if you're waiting for the moment when you feel confident enough, organized enough, or prepared enough, stop. That moment is a mirage. Instead, take one step. Speak up in the meeting. Submit the application. Start the project. Make the call. Let the doing teach you what the doubting never could. Because readiness is rarely a feeling. It's a decision. And every time you choose action over anxiety, you remind yourself what you're made of. You're not weaker than others, you're just not giving yourself enough credit yet. But trust me, you're stronger than you think. We often think strength looks like grand victories, a promotion, a finished book, a standing ovation. But I'll tell you a secret I've seen proven time and again. Real strength is quiet. It lives in the next small step you choose to take. You don't have to climb the mountain today, but can you take one honest step forward? Maybe that means getting out of bed when the weight of the world tells you to stay under the covers. Maybe it's making one phone call, writing one paragraph, or walking for 10 minutes instead of giving in to despair. Maybe it's simply deciding to try again, even after yesterday's effort fell flat. Too many people wait for the grand moment of motivation to come before they move. But motivation follows movement. Action breeds confidence, not the other way around. Think about the great figures in history. Not one of them achieved their success in a single leap. They took small, deliberate steps in the direction of their convictions, often in the dark, often in doubt, and often without applause. You see, strength doesn't demand certainty, it demands motion. And you don't need to see the whole path to move forward. You just need to trust that the next small step matters. Because it does. Over time, those steps add up. They shape habits. They shape character. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, they shape a life that reflects the courage it took to begin. So if today feels heavy, don't try to fix everything. Just take the next small step. That's how you move a mountain, one stone at a time. And with each step, you'll realize more and more. You are stronger than you think. Some people believe that strength means never stumbling, never falling. But those who've lived long enough know the truth. Setbacks aren't signs of weakness. They're the signature of effort. You see, failure only visits those who are daring enough to try. Disappointment only comes to those who are brave enough to care. And discouragement? That's the tax we pay on ambition. Now, I won't romanticize hardship. It hurts, can bruise the ego and shake your confidence. But what I will say, what I know, is that every stumble you recover from adds another layer to your resilience. You can't build a strong bridge without stress on the beams. The same is true for character. Do you know what most people do when they face setbacks? They withdraw. They assume the fall is final. But you've come far enough to know better. When the plan doesn't work, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means the plan was incomplete. So adjust. Refocus. But don't retreat. Thomas Edison, after thousands of failed attempts to create the light bulb, was asked if he felt like a failure. He replied, "I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's not delusion. That's strength in its most determined form. Your setbacks are not the end of the story. They're the middle. And the middle is always messy. So when you feel discouraged, remember this. It's not the stumble that defines you. It's the fact that you stood up again. That's strength. And that's you. You are stronger than you think. Years ago, I met a man who told me something that stuck with me ever since. He said, "I've got two voices in my head. One tells me I'm a failure, the other tells me I've still got a chance. Whichever one I feed, that's the one that wins." Now, we all live with those two voices. One whispers fear, shame, and self-doubt. The other speaks with quiet strength. reminding us of who we really are and what we're capable of. And day after day, moment after moment, we choose which one we listen to. Here's the truth I want you to carry with you. Confidence is not something you either have or don't have. It's something you cultivate. And like anything you cultivate, it grows with attention. So ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind every day? Are you reviewing your mistakes or reflecting on what you've learned? Are you replaying old criticisms or remembering the praise you once brushed aside? Are you focusing on your limitations or choosing to recognize your progress? You see, strength isn't just in what you do, it's in how you think. It's in the quiet decisions you make each day to believe in your worth, even when the world doesn't clap for it. Take 5 minutes today, just 5, to list the challenges you've overcome. Write them down. Don't skip the small ones, because they count. Then ask yourself, if I survive that, why not this? What you feed will grow. Feed the belief that you are capable, resilient, and worthy of every good thing that life still has in store for you. Because the more you nourish that part of yourself, the more clearly you'll hear the truth. You are stronger than you think. One of the hardest things a person can do is begin again. After a failure, a heartbreak, a disappointment that shakes the soul. Feels like going backward, like losing ground. But I want to offer you a different view. Starting over isn't a sign of weakness. It's one of the clearest signs of inner strength. Think about it. Anyone can keep walking when the road is smooth. But it takes real courage to rise after a fall. Dust yourself off and say, let's try this another way. Maybe you've faced a closed door, a job that ended, a relationship that unraveled, a dream that didn't materialize. And maybe you've wondered, what now? What's left of me? Here's what's left. Everything that mattered most. Your ability to learn, your willingness to care, your hunger to grow, your resolve to keep going even when it hurts. Those aren't things you lost. They're things that brought you through. When a forest burns, it seems like devastation. But soon you'll see the green sprouting up again, new, even stronger than before. The fire didn't destroy the forest's potential. It revealed it. It's the same with you. You may be standing in ashes, but beneath your feet is fertile ground. Ground that's been tilled by experience and watered by tears. Starting over means you've refused to stay stuck. It means you still believe in something better, even if that belief is hanging by a thread. So if you're rebuilding your career, your confidence, your sense of self, know this, you are not broken. You are being remade. And the you that emerges from this season, stronger than you think. There's a quiet kind of strength that doesn't get headlines, doesn't shout, doesn't sparkle, doesn't show off. It simply lives its life, and in doing so, changes others without ever meaning to. And here's what I want you to know. You are already influencing people, even when you don't realize it. Maybe it's your child watching how you handle adversity. Maybe it's your coworker noticing how you listen when no one else does. Maybe it's a stranger at the grocery store who catches your kind smile on a hard day. You don't need a stage or a spotlight to make a difference. You just need to show up as your true self and keep doing the next right thing. Now, I know some days you feel invisible, like your efforts go unnoticed, but they don't. Every choice you make to rise, to speak kindly, to persist, those things ripple. They plant seeds in places you may never see. You never know who is drawing courage from the way you carry yourself. You never know whose life is quietly being shaped by your example. You never know who needed exactly the kind of strength you offer, even when you feel spent. You matter, not because of what you accomplish, but because of who you are and the steady, imperfect, real presence you bring into this world. So don't discount yourself. You're not just surviving, you're shaping something greater. And that takes far more strength than most people ever see. Let this truth settle into your bones. You are already stronger than you think. By now, you've heard me say it in many ways. You are stronger than you think. And perhaps somewhere along the line, that truth started to take root. But let me leave you with something even more important. It's not enough to believe it. You must begin to live it. That doesn't mean you'll feel strong every day. No one does. But strength isn't about feeling, it's about choosing. Choosing to speak with honesty, even when your voice shakes. Choosing to love again, even after your heart's been bruised. Choosing to show up, even when you'd rather hide. Choosing to grow, even when it means letting go of the familiar. Life will always offer you reasons to hold back, to play small, to sit in the shadows of self-doubt. But you weren't born for that. You were born to make a mark, to lift someone else, to live with purpose and courage and grace. That doesn't happen in one sweeping decision. It happens in 1,000 quiet choices made each day, to believe, to try, to stand tall even if your knees are shaking. So here's my final encouragement to you. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait to feel fearless. Don't wait for someone else to hand you permission. Give yourself permission. Begin today. Because strength isn't something you discover once and for all. It's something you decide to live into over and over again. And when you do, when you choose to live from the well of strength within you, you'll look back one day and realize something beautiful. You didn't just survive. You didn't just grow. You became the kind of person you once hoped you could be. Because all along, you were stronger than you thought.